We are a voice. It is time to talk and be heard without judgment or ridicule, using our voice to lift a standard and showing with action that we are one.
So who is J. Chanel?
J. Chanel. She's one of my closest friends. And if I can describe her, I would say she's like a quiet storm that eases her way into the room and shifts the atmosphere as God sees fit. That pretty much describes her.
On the flip side, she describes herself as cool, courageous, outgoing, outspoken, and full of love. She has a brilliant, unique mind, full of creativities and colors that will soon be watered across this dying world. J. Chanel grew up in church, however left and tried to do it on her own. She's done and seen enough to know what it means when they say, if it wasn't for God who was on her side, I would have been dead and gone sleeping in her grave. There were many times in her life where she was ready to end it. She was so dark and lost, didn't recognize the beauty within. She was a young teen mom and sought validation from different men, thinking that would make her. She came from a strong background of abuse in every way. Insecurities, always walking with her head down, telling everyone she was okay, smiling like life was perfectly fine, but really had a silent scream, yelling, "Help me." One day, J. Chanel decided enough was enough. It was time to make a turn for the better. She surrendered her life back to God in 2009. After going through her refining process, God saw fit to elevate her higher in ministry. J. Chanel is now an ordained youth minister, motivational speaker, worship arts coordinator, and many other things. She also has a dance ministry called Pure Image, founded back in 2010, where she's traveled all over with her handsome son Malachi and ministered through praise dance and mime. Those that have seen her ministry knows it was all about glorifying the kingdom. Most importantly, outside of all that, J. Chanel's desire is to encourage, guide, and strengthen her generation, just as others did for her. She is gifted in a lot of things, but chosen for one main reason, and that is to serve through her God-given purpose. J. Chanel is not afraid of using her voice, and she's now ready to help you break out of your silent scream, because you have a voice and the time is now to be heard.
So who is Soul Praise?
Carnegie Hall, aka Soul Praise. She's a solo gospel artist, a songwriter, a praise and worship leader, inspiration to many, but most of all, my friend.
Carnegie has been saved since the age of 6 years old. While being in church her whole life, she strayed away from God. Not so long after, she became a teen mom, newly married, feeling like she was grown. Over time, Carnegie started drinking and partying every chance she got. Her marriage became unbearably hard. They couldn't pay their bills and had to leave home. But God still provided for her family. One day, Carnegie was praying to God that if He guides her back to Him, she will serve Him forever and use her voice to sing for His kingdom. After first Sunday back to church, she gave her life back to God. Shortly after service, their praise and worship leader asked her if she could sing. Reluctantly, she said, "Yes. God will surely give you the desires of your heart if you just ask." Fast forwarding, Carnegie Hall is now the praise and worship leader at her church, Renewed Life, and have been for over 4 years now. She is also an ordained youth minister who is not afraid to deliver God's word with boldness. Life for her has not always been easy. She became a widow in 2012, but yet with 2 daughters, she still continued to press towards the mark, refusing to stop serving God. It is her greatest belief that we are overcomers by the confessions of our testimonies. Her desire is to uplift God's people and show others that negativity, envy, hatred are all the works of the devil. She states, when you have that thought to do wrong, do the opposite, because God is love. And remember, as she quotes, with God all things are possible.